Fitness Success, the 4 pillars of achievement. Each week, I alone or with a guest will break down a specific pillar to help you build a balanced, sustainable fitness routine. Week 1, Pillar 1, Nutrition Habits. Master your nutrition and fuel your body for success. Week 2, Pillar 2, Stress Management. Practical strategies for managing life's inevitable stressors. Week 3, Pillar 3, Physical Activity. Tips to stay active and energized no matter your fitness level. Week 4, Pillar 4, Recovery Measures. Recovery is key. Learn the best ways to rest, recharge, and avoid burnout both in and out of the gym. Tonight, we're focusing on 3 critical components for structuring effective physical activity routines to maximize your results. This was recorded in late January, but the info is timeless, and I felt the need to share it with you guys again. So without further ado, check this out. If you're a fitness enthusiast or just starting your journey, understanding these elements I'm going to go through tonight, rest periods, range of motion, and tempo, can completely transform your workouts. So let's get started. If you guys have any questions during this, please don't hesitate to throw it in the comments. All right. 1, rest periods. Rest periods are the intervals of time you take between sets, exercises, or workouts. So for instance, you do a set of 10 repetitions, pick up a weight, rep it out 10 times, you wait to do another set of 10, right? That rest period interval between the 2 sets of 10 is your rest period in between your sets. Okay. So they play a significant role in determining workout intensity and outcomes. I'd like to know, what type of workouts do you prefer? Quick, high-intensity ones or heavy lifting with longer rest periods, and why? If you can answer that in the comment section, let me know, even if you watch on the replay. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the purpose of rest periods. So, got 3 different rest periods I'm going to talk about. The first rest period is the short rest period, and that is about 15 to 45 seconds. That promotes muscular endurance and cardiovascular conditioning. Okay, so if you're trying to get that endurance up and get more conditioned and get that cardio up, take shorter rest periods. Moderate rest periods, that's anywhere between 60 to 90 seconds. They're ideal for hypertrophy. That's muscle growth, okay? Muscle growth, 60 to 90 seconds. Longer rest periods, we're talking like 2 to 3+ minutes. They allow for full recovery of strength, making them suitable for a heavy strength training or powerlifting. So if you're trying to lift for the heaviest, then you want to take a longer rest period. All right. So we have short rest periods, moderate rest periods, and longer rest periods. So how do you tailor the rest periods to your goal? Well, pretty simple. As a rule of thumb, for fat loss or general fitness, you want to take, shorter rest periods. So it keeps the heart rate elevated and burns more calories. And then for strength building, longer rest periods ensures that you can lift heavier weights effectively without premature fatigue. So for general health, general fitness, and for fat loss, you want anywhere from 15 to 45 seconds for your short period, or 60 to 90 seconds for your moderate. And if you're just going for strength building, you want to take that full 2 minutes or 2 to 3+ minutes worth of rest. All right, for those goals. And then there's something that we call active rest, which is also good for fat loss too. So instead of sitting idle, not doing anything, you can incorporate active recovery. All right. For example, walking, stretching, or light cardio, during your rest periods to keep blood flowing and reduce muscle stiffness. You could do that. And again, that's good for fat loss too. So I like to stay idle in between my sets. And while I'm idle, I'm take that time to meditate. So I actually meditate a lot during my workouts. That's a little bonus for you, especially with the headphones in and just zoned out. All right. So the first thing that we talked about is rest periods. The second thing I want to talk about this evening that you can change up is your range of motion. All right. ROM, range of motion. So range of motion refers to how far a joint or muscle can move during an exercise. All right. So optimizing range of motion ensures better muscle engagement and reduces the risk of injury. Have you ever experienced limited mobility during an exercise? How did you work on improving it? Let me know in the comments. Was it an injury or something like that? Let me know. So full range of motion. Let me explain what that is. Full range of motion. That's exercises performed with a full range of motion. You activate more muscle fibers. You improve strength and flexibility. For example, all right, when you're squatting, a deep squat works more of your quadriceps, glutes, and hamstrings than a partial squat. A partial squat would be mostly for your quadriceps and less for your hamstrings and glutes. Partial range of motion, it's useful for isolating specific muscle groups or avoiding pain caused by injury or limited mobility. For instance, athletes recovering from knee issues, right? They might initially perform a partial squat as opposed to a full squat, so that they would do partial squats. They would stop the squat at the point where you start to feel knee pain and go back up until you're fully recovered. Then you could go into a full squat. And let's talk about improving range of motion. All right. Improve range of motion. How can you do that? You can incorporate dynamic stretches before workouts. And don't worry, I'll explain what that is. And static stretches, I'll explain what that is after your workout. So dynamic stretches before workouts and static stretches after workouts to improve ranges of motion. Okay. So dynamic stretching, it's something that I do before I work out. It consists of continuous movements through a stretch rather than holding a position. Movements like leg swings, shoulder circles, even head circles. All right. Those are active movements designed to increase your range of motion and promote mobility and wake up your muscles. All right. So dynamic stretching is a great practice to add to any warm-up. Gets the muscles ready for what's about to happen. Choose exercises that focus on the muscles that you're about to work on. So if you're going to do a shoulder movement, you might want to do some shoulder circles or some shoulder mobility work. All right. And then we have static stretching. Static stretching is probably more common, that you probably know about. It involves stretching that you hold, the stretches that you hold in place for a period of time without movement. Movements like the shoulder stretch, the tricep stretch, and then the child's pose. I'm not going to do that right here on video, but the child's pose, which is a common yoga pose, that's also a static stretch. They are designed to increase your flexibility, decrease muscle pain and stiffness, and also enhance recovery. So static stretching is a great practice to add to your post-workout recovery. Because remember, folks, dynamic stretching is before you work out to get the muscles ready, and static stretching is done after your workout for recovery. All right. Remember to choose exercises that focus on the muscles that you just worked on. It's like, for instance, if you just did legs, then you might want to do some leg static stretching. Make sense? All right. So lastly, the third thing that I would like to talk about this evening that you can switch up in your workouts and be very effective is tempo. Tempo refers to the speed at which you perform each phase of the movement. It's often expressed as a 4-number sequence. For example, 3-1-1-0. Again, 3-1-1-0. And I'll explain that in a second. But I would like to know, when you're lifting weights, do you tend to rush through reps, or do you take the time with a slower tempo? And what's your reasoning? Again, when you're lifting weights, do you tend to just rush through the reps just to get them done? Or do you actually take the time with a slower tempo and pay attention to what you're doing? Let me know in the comments. All right, so let's talk about tempo phases. Remember, tempo refers to usually 4 phases. And using that example, 3-1-1-0, let's go through these. All right, so tempo phases. The first number, 3, right, is the eccentric phase, or the lowering phase of the weight. This is the lengthening, say that 5 times fast, of the muscle. For instance, lowering the dumbbell in a bicep curl, that would refer to the first number. So a slow eccentric phase or lowering weight phase of the number 3 would be 3 seconds, which increases muscle damage, which is necessary for growth. So on the way down, on the curl, 1, 2, 3. That would be the tempo for the first number down. The second number is the pause or isometric hold. That's the point where you stop moving briefly, like at the bottom of the bicep curl or a squat. Pausing builds control and strength.
So when referring to this example, 3-1-1-0, 3 is on the way down, 3, 2, 1. And then once you get to the bottom, that number 1 for the second number means you just want to stay there for 1 second before bringing the weight back, which brings me to the third number, the concentric phase of the lifting phase, okay? The shortening of the muscle or the curling up of the dumbbell. Explosive concentric movements enhance strength and power, where slower ones help build the muscle. So 3-1-1-0, you got 3 on the way down, 3, 2, 1, 1 second pause at the bottom, and then 1. That means lift it up very quick, 1 second on the way up. All right, that's going to bring me to the fourth number, which is the pause between reps, or if there are any. So this is the rest before the next rep. It's often brief, 0 to 1 seconds, to maintain tension on the muscle. So on this example, 3-1-1-0, 3 on the way down, 3, 2, 1, 1 second pause at the bottom, and then 1 second up, and then 0 wait before you go down again. That's all. So let's talk about tailoring the tempo. All right. So slow tempos. Example: 4, 2, 2, 0. 4 on the way down, 2 second pause, 2 seconds on the way up, 0 before the next rep. That's greater for a hypertrophy or a muscle growth because they increase time under tension. All right. Fast tempos, a little bit different, or a lot different, really. For example, 1-0-1-0 are better for power and endurance. So that first 1 on the way down, 0 wait before you come back up, 1 second on the way up, 0 before you go back down again. So 1-0-1, really quick. All right. The benefits of tempo training: it improves mind-muscle connection because you got to pay attention. Okay. It helps you focus on engaging the correct muscles, which is another point, which I didn't really say, but the whole point of weight training is putting the muscle under tension for a length of time. All right. So when you're sitting there doing reps all extra fast, you're not really letting there be any time under tension for the muscle, which kind of negates the whole point of working out, unless you're just trying to get a cardio workout, which is a different thing. But if you want to build some muscle, you need some time under tension on the muscle. All right. Another benefit of tempo training is it adds variety to your workouts and prevents plateaus. So if you've been going to the gym now, where we're at, we're almost towards the end of January. So those people that have been going to the gym like just for this month for their New Year's resolution are probably getting kind of bored. You want something else to do, try out this tempo training. Pay attention to the actual time it takes to lower the weight and then to bring it back. And then also, again, hey, tonight too, pay attention to range of motion too. Pay attention to how far you're going or what's going on with that. So again, rest periods too. You can also shorten the rest periods in between your sets. Or if you're not even paying attention to rest periods, I mean, if you're not paying attention to any of this, you might want to first try paying attention to all of this and see where you start out at, and then, vary the variables here. So that wraps up tonight's fitness success segment. We've covered how to optimize rest periods, maximize range of motion, and harness tempo for better workout outcomes. Remember, fitness is a journey, and small changes to your routine can lead to significant results over time. From you at home, which of these components, rest periods, range of motion, or tempo, do you think have the biggest impact on your fitness journey? Let me know in the comments below. Remember, that goes for you guys watching the replay too.
Until next time, keep it simple, keep it moving, and above all else, keep it real, especially when it comes to your fitness. That wraps up today's fitness success segment. Next Monday is week 4, so we'll be discussing Pillar 4, recovery measures. Recovery is key. Learn the best ways to rest, recharge, and avoid burnout both in and out of the gym. And if you want to join the conversation as a guest or have your questions featured on the next episode, just drop a comment below. And yes, even if you're watching the replay, let us know and we'll make it happen.